Howdy, Mike here with Laptop Empires. I'm just going from some emergency grocery shopping, got my mask because it's crazy right now. But as I was walking through the grocery store today, I was thinking about an idea, something that we're doing here at Laptop Empires that I'm really excited about. But it made me start thinking about how, as the whole time I've been in business, there's been times where you got to fight shiny object syndrome. And you might have, you can probably relate to this. Maybe you have an idea, you get all excited about it. Then you get a new idea and you get all excited about that. And you don't know what to work on. Or maybe you're working on a project and you hear about a new strategy for somebody and you jump to that strategy and start trying to do that before you've really put the time in to perfect and optimize the original strategy that you were doing. And so this is one of the biggest, things that we face. One of the most difficult things that we face as entrepreneurs is making decisions and not knowing, like, well, is this strategy going to work, or this one, or there's this new method, whatever. And we jump from thing to thing to thing to thing instead of just focusing on one thing and getting results by working on it consistently and improving it. And so I wanted to talk about that because I'm going through it. We've got this new idea. It's going to be a bit of a change of direction of what we were working on, but it feels right. It feels like the right thing to do. But how do you know whether going after and pursuing a new idea or a new project or a new strategy is the right thing when you're trying to avoid shiny object syndrome and all of those kind of things? It's a really difficult question. So I want to tell you a little bit about how I deal with it and what I recommend. All right. So the first thing is just, in some instances, you've got to trust your gut, right? And your gut can be deceiving, but if you feel really good about something or you don't quite feel right about something, then that should be a big indicator. And I think more so on the not feeling right about something than the feeling really good, because the feeling really good can be masked by excitement. And so you might be like, wow, okay, you're so amped up about an idea. I know myself and Bobby, we love, we're idea people. And so when we come up with new ideas, we get really excited, and we got to let that kind of calm down. But sometimes if there's just this nagging thing, like if you are pursuing a project and you're just feeling resistance to it, that might be an indication that something's wrong. Now, it might be an indication that you just don't want to do the work, right? And you got to be careful, because sometimes the most important projects, the things that are going to drive your business forward the most, you might feel a lot of resistance to. In the book War of Art, Stephen Pressfield talks about how resistance can be an indication of the direction that you should go. Because if there's something that is important, you're procrastinating, and so often that resistance is a guiding light. It's an indication of the direction that you should go. And you can think about this in your daily to-do list. You tend to go after the little tiny stuff that doesn't move the needle, and the big project you really need to get done, you might put off for days and days and days. So with that, you got to be careful too. There's another book, The Obstacle is the Way, right? Because when there is some big obstacle or some big resistance that you've built up in your mind, oftentimes that's just you avoiding the pain of doing the work that's going to move the needle, right? But sometimes it's not just that. If you can differentiate between the resistance you feel from not wanting to do the work and the resistance you feel because something just isn't quite right, then that can be a big indicator of whether a change is a good thing or it's just excitement. And so an example of that, we have been working on a product around courses, right? We've had a lot of success with courses. My digital marketing agency has been promoting courses for years. And our initial course project that we were putting together was about how to create and launch a course. Now, it didn't quite feel right. We kept putting it back. And what we eventually figured out was that we didn't want to create a course about how to create courses. We wanted to create a course about taking things that we're best at: paid advertising, growing an organic audience, building community, email marketing, copywriting. We wanted to take all of those things and show people how can they grow and scale their course? How can they market their course and really take it to the next level, right? Go from 6 figures to 7 figures using the email marketing, the paid traffic, the funnels, and all of those kind of things, right? And so that was one where we were feeling resistance to the program that we were all excited about, and we didn't know why. And we eventually figured out, after sleeping on it, that it was just because we were coming at it from the wrong angle, right? And so there was things that we wanted to talk about, and we just weren't we just had to modify it. And once we did that, now we're really excited about it again. We're working on it again. All right. And so in your day-to-day, here's some strategies for like beyond just kind of that gut feeling and feeling that resistance and just toning down that excitement. Here's some things that you can do to figure out whether you should pursue ideas or new strategies, or if you should just focus, put the blinders on, like the horses, in races, put the blinders on and just focus. All right. So the first thing is that you should sleep on it. This is really important. If you have an idea, you get all excited, you need to sleep on it. And not just for one day, sleep on it for a while. Give it a week or so. Even better, give it a month. All right. The longer that you can sleep on it and the more time you can take before you actually pursue it, the more likely you're going to know that this is the right thing and it's not an emotional decision. It's a logical, smart, objective decision, not one that's just based on the excitement of the moment. All right. And so one of the easiest ways to do that, and the strategy that I'm going to recommend to you, is you should use brain dumps and planning, and then you should have kind of a someday maybe list. All right. And so here's how all this works together. The first thing is, once a week or every night, depending on what you want to do, your frequency, you should do a massive brain dump. All right. So for example, if you have trouble sleeping, doing a brain dump before you get to bed and getting all the ideas out of your head definitely is going to help you get some sleep. But at least once a week, you should do a massive brain dump of all the things you want to do, all the ideas you have. And then you should prioritize those things. You should rank them based on importance, how they're going to move your business forward. Once you've prioritized those things, you can then schedule them into your week and the things that you're going to focus on. You might have a big project you want to finish for that week. You might have individual tasks you want to schedule throughout the week. Everything else should be moved, okay? And everything else should be put onto kind of a someday maybe thing that you can come back. And then every week you can look at your someday maybe list, you can look at your brain dump, and you can figure out what are going to be your priorities for that week. Now, here's how you take it a step further, all right? A best practice would be that every month you set up your goals for the month, or maybe you set up your goals for the quarter even. If you can do a 12-week priorities, monthly priorities, and weekly priorities, you're going to be really hyper productive. But then what you want to do, at least on a monthly basis, is you set out your priorities for the month. And anything new that comes up that month will not be done. Anything new that comes up that week will not be done, okay? You're going to put any ideas you have into that bucket of someday maybe to review the next week or even the next month. And I would say even the next month is even better. Finish out your projects you've already committed to, work on them. If you need to eliminate some, that's fine, but don't add new projects. Set them to come back to after you've slept on it when you have your big meeting, if you've got a business partner, or when you're doing your planning session by yourself. You come back to all of those things 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, depending how far into the month you are. And then you reevaluate at that time. And you go, is this the right move? Is this the strategy that I should be pursuing right now? And if you still feel like it's the strategy that you should pursue, then go after it, do it, right? But taking that time to sleep on it and make sure that you're 100% you know that this is the way to go is going to help you from moving from thing to thing to thing. Because changing direction and changing strategies and letting excitement and emotion dictate what you do is going to hurt your business more than it's going to help it. And it's going to leave you in the situation where you feel like you're treading water. You're putting in a lot of energy, a lot of work to go nowhere, just to stay afloat, to stay exactly where you've been. And the way that you make progress is you choose a direction and you swim in that direction, to keep the analogy going. All right, so now I want you to do me a favor. I want you to watch this next video. It's my tutorial about using Asana. And this might feel like a pivot, but Asana is how I keep everything organized. It's where I put all of my ideas. I have projects, I have my lists, I have my daily, weekly, monthly to-do list, the things I want to do one day. It's an incredible tool. It's got a great mobile app. And it's really the thing that I use to keep the best organized. And I think it's important because what I've found is that when I write down these things, when I write down these ideas I have so that I can come back to them later, I'm less likely to make these emotional decisions and I'm able to focus better. Because if I don't write them down, I worry about forgetting them, or I get caught up in the moment and I start doing that thing. But when I write them down and I have a place I can go back to them, I don't worry about them. I know the idea is going to be there. If it's going to be a good idea, it's still going to be a good idea a couple of weeks from now, and I can always come back to it. So check out this Asana tutorial. It goes through exactly how to use it, how we use it, how you can use it in your daily life, in your business, to manage your production calendar for your YouTube or your blog or whatever, how you can use it to manage your freelance work or your employees like we do. It's a fantastic tool. I think you're really going to enjoy it. I hope you enjoy that video. Please subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, I'll be putting out more. I know this one was a bit random and a little bit off topic, but I think it's an important topic, and it's one that, you know, I was really thinking about every time like I have a big decision or I get excited about something. It's something I think about. And so I felt compelled to make this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next week.